Peace to the planet Earth. It is Sunday. It's a wonderful Sunday down here in Georgia. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping. And we are back up here with another episode of Love vs. Prison, Ep.3, where we talk about our marriage. Let me be specific before I get a backhand to the jaw. Where we talk about our marriage. We talk about our journey with prison. We did get married while I was still incarcerated. I was actually coming home from a 17-year prison bid. And we get into all that. We like when the questions come. So if you've got questions, go ahead and fire away. I'm gonna do some shout outs real quick before I forget. Shout out to Ignite Justice. Of course, if you want to know how to get organized and do something positive and make a positive and impactful change, get with Ignite Justice. You can email me directly at cwillers@ignite-justice.org. We're in a few states. I'm down here in Georgia. Emily and Jen are up there in Virginia. We're in a few other states as well. Find out how to get involved. And of course, shout out to other organizations like Sisters in Prison Reform, Bar Business, any of the advocates, any of the family members, anybody that's standing up. And I'm going to continue. We got Mandela Day coming up. Ignite Justice. Just email us. Find out what's going on. And then May 7th, we've got at Browns Park, Yorktown, VA, my brother's nonprofit, We Got, is hosting a Youth Our Future Day at Browns Park, May 7th, Yorktown, VA. I believe it's 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. I might be wrong. If I am, I'll straighten that out. But if you're not doing anything, bring the kids out. Got gift certificates and food and TikTok dances and boxing lessons. And we're giving away his books that are awesome and inspirational. And I think it's imperative that the youth understand that they are our future. All right, I got my stuff out. How are you feeling?
I'm all right.
You all right?
Yeah.
I'm all right. I'm all right too. We definitely appreciate all the support that's been coming through, all the prayers, all the positive messages, all the love. We're not gonna make this whole show about that. I'm gonna say that we're still going forward. Team Willers, the Willers, we're resilient. Man, we've been through hell and back and hell and back and hell and back again a few times. But if you're married and if you're with somebody and you're building something and you're fighting to have a certain life, you're going to go through some shit. That it's just what it is. But for me, it's never going to feel good, but I'm not going to allow it to keep me from walking in my purpose. And it's not over. You know what I'm saying? There's always tomorrow. And we keep going. We adjust, we breathe, we're taking time to breathe. So anybody, if we haven't reached back or responded to messages, we're working. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're still moving, we're still operating, but we're breathing when we can. But we're gonna be all right. I think we're all right now, but we're gonna keep getting better and better. So we appreciate y'all. We appreciate the tribe, man. What you got to say? Because I didn't want to make it a whole spiel about that.
Well, I'll just piggyback off of, what my husband said. If you are near and dear to us, you will know the details. I'm not going to get into it on here right now, but we were experiencing something very beautiful, and unfortunately, some things have taken a different turn unexpectedly. So, in retrospect, we're going to continue to move forward. I'm not going to allow unforeseen circumstances to dictate my future and how I invest my time. So this means, as far as self-care, keeping my mind right, staying focused on our goals, which is purpose, being impactful in the community, being impactful just with people as a whole. I'm not going to let, certain circumstances dictate how I feel and how I treat individuals. So with that being said, Thank you for all your prayers. Thank you for all your heartfelt concern for us. You know, if you rock with us, we appreciate you. We love you guys, and we're going to continue to move forward because that's what you do. You know, we are here not by happenstance. We affect change. We are effective, and we're going to continue to be just that. You know, we just have to continue to be focused on what's important. And for us, it is purpose. It's purpose driven. And that's the way we live our lives. And that's how we will continue to live our lives despite anything. And we are a team Wheeler. So we're going to push through this together as a unit. We're not going to let it dictate how we feel about each other. Based off our own personal wants and desires. Because ultimately, as long as you are carrying out what you should be doing, all will never be lost. Anything can be easily regained, obtained in many different ways. So, as we continue to push forward, keep us in your thoughts and prayers, and we will do the same. But in the meantime, in between time, we gonna come together. We gonna stay focused, and we here for the win. That's it.
I'm gonna adjust this camera.
I know it's getting on my nerves.
I know. I got you. I think I got it. Something like that. I'll back up like that. But anyways, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Life goes on. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
For anybody that's going through anything, any married couple, any time you guys run into an obstacle or situation, hopefully you guys got enough strength to keep going. It's not always easy. We have our moments. I think we'll have our moments in life whenever you face certain things of a magnitude like this. But you just hope to be with somebody that when you're having your moment, they can help you stand back up, and then when you're standing up, if they have a moment, you can help them stand back up.
Be there to catch them.
That's it, and you keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Stay focused.
You keep going. That's it. This cup says drunk, but it's just cherry Pepsi or so no, we're not going crazy. I don't think so. One of my homeboys, he said, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know. We're still blessed, man. We still do have a really dope life. You know what I'm saying? And we can't get so caught up in the things that we don't have right now, that we don't appreciate what we do have in the moment. Especially because life is short, man.
Too short.
Yeah, man, every time I get on social media, well, every month, if I feel like on social media, I see somebody else that we've lost, somebody I was cool with, somebody I had a conversation with. Just a few weeks ago, I lost a coworker, here one day, she was gone the next. So it's just, just be with somebody that kind of helps you get your focus back when you start to drift. Because you can. It gets hard sometimes. You know what I mean? But keep going. And if you're not with somebody like that, oh, my fault.
No, I said that's all you can do. That's all I said.
But if you're not with somebody like that, yeah, I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna give no advice right now. Other than that, what's going on?
Nothing. Other than that, that's it.
The school.
I'm ready.
Award ceremony next month.
Yes.
Next month. Shout out to Monique Yesenia, her award, her dinner banquet. We got that going on. She'll be getting honored for Educator of the Year, so that's amazing.
Yes, by the wonderful and lovely Miss Monique. Shout out to her. She's a beautiful queen that honors other queens, and I just love it. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be the highlight of April.
Yeah, April's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. We get to go up there, see Virginia, second home. I love Virginia, but I don't stay long. When I'm there, I'm sorry, anybody, to my Virginia family, when I'm there for about 13 seconds. I'm there for a purpose, and I am gone with the quickness. I see who I need to see. Bless you. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
We go to the events or whatever we need to do, and then we keep going, man. I'm out. I can't really stay in VA like that. They got me traumatized. Are you traumatized by Virginia when you go back?
I have no reason to be there. I feel like I don't feel like I should be there that much.
Emily said, "Does anyone have questions?" Yeah, if you guys got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat.
Yeah.
That's what we're definitely here for. Question though, based on yesterday's conversation, because I was having, do you feel like you can't really speak on it, but just from what you hear, because people sometimes call you for advice or message you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you see more successful relationships and marriages like ours, or not successful?
Like ours?
Just successful, period.
Or just, okay, successful marriages as a whole,
or relationships
as a whole. I would say because of my circle, I do find that most of my circle is in long-term relationships or, in a marriage, the majority. Of course, life happens, things happen, but I would say for the most part, I would feel like they're successful, but that doesn't mean that they are.
But I wasn't even talking about that. I'm talking about
okay.
people that call you for advice that are in relationships with people that were incarcerated. Because I don't think you have anybody in your circle that.
I don't. I mean, I would say no. I'm trying to think of course, not in my circle. No, your circle, yes, but my circle, no.
Just no. No words after that. Just no.
No.
Well, I'm gonna ask you. I guess part two of the question is, why do you think that is?
I think that in order to work through the things that you have to work through when you're with somebody, it's really hard for the adjustment period to kind of, I guess, it's for it to be successful. The adjustment period for both parties has to be like very, very patient. And it's very, very difficult. It's a very difficult season, I feel like, because not only is that person that was just released dealing with the adjustment, you're still trying to adjust with them. So that time can be, I feel like, taxing, and some people might not want to stick around for it. It's a lot to learn. It's to whom much is given, much is required. It requires a lot of patience and dedication and the ability to get up the next day and say, okay, I'm gonna keep investing into this, because it can be difficult.
Yeah, it was. It was difficult. I came home. She had to teach me everything.
Yeah,
so,
and I wasn't expecting that. It was the things that I wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think
thinking. We just didn't think about it. Teaching him how to drive.
Yeah.
Teaching him how to use the kiosk. Teaching him about self checkout. He had a banking card and a banking system, but I don't think they certainly weren't using chips.
No.
It's just certain things. The phone as a whole.
Yeah.
Apps. Just the whole, just everything. It's.
And I'm a question person.
Yes. Yes. That's his love language. So it can be. It can. Yeah. Sometimes it can be easy, but when you have to do it over and over again, it can become repetitive. And if you lose patience for the other person, you're not going to be able to work through it smoothly, and somebody's going to eventually break. I feel like if they don't put their all into it.
I'm over here reading comments. It says Mika Meek, shout out to Mika Meek. It says prison does try to destroy relationships. You have to be strong and have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You got to be patient on both ends too, because the same way she had to be patient, I had to be patient. Yeah. I had to understand she wasn't going to be able to pick up the phone just because I was able to use the phone right when we came off lock. I had to, it's certain things like where I had to mature. But man, when I came home, oh man, it was I guess the aftershocks of prison that still tried to destroy our relationship, our marriage. I feel like
Yeah.
because communication, I had to relearn in a lot of ways. I did have to learn how to be patient with myself as a
Mm-hmm.
whole. You know, it was just a lot, man. I think that's what we look at immediately what prison does to a relationship when an individual on the inside, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't think about the aftershocks when a person comes home, the traumas they're still dealing with, all of that. It says, we got some comments coming. It says it's hard when they're still in there, not at home. What is the best way to deal with that? That's a you question right there. I guess she's saying so. When I was basically like when I was still inside, what was the best way to deal with that?
I feel like we talked about it on one show before, and giving, okay, depending on the type of person that you're with, Chris is a list person. So if I give him a list, a to do list, it keeps him busy, it keeps his mind occupied. And especially, with so much time between the two of you, having a phone schedule if you can, that worked for us. But outside of that, giving him something to research, giving him something to kind of educate himself, which could help him educate others while he was inside, that really helped to kind of shape that time. That way we had things to focus on. We talked about building a business before we even obtained one. We had talked about the school before. And we do have a school. That's one of the reasons Chris got his barber's license while he was, behind bars. But having, a focus and having a plan why you're trying to occupy that time or why that individual is occupying their time, I feel like keeps the focus on where it needs to be, which is investing in your future and definitely trying to, plan ahead while you can. It's hard. Yeah.
And
It can be hard.
I want to say from the outside, like you didn't allow yourself to become consumed with me. Like I wasn't like the end all be all to your life. And I'm just being honest. Sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah.
Not just these relationships, but if you get into a relationship with somebody and it's like you don't know how to function without them. You can't breathe if you don't talk. Like it was never like that. So I think that definitely helped you because I've seen people stress each other the hell out.
Mm-mm. I was in school when I met him, so I was, really trying to do that. I was getting prepared, to take my tests. So I had a lot going on, and I was trying to change careers. It was just, I still had my own stuff going on. So
Yeah.
that does help being occupied on that. And the things that I was working on too, was for our future, So regardless, if it worked or not, and I believe the same for him, we were going to be doing something with our time, investing into each other with it, with our time and learning from each other because there were things that I learned from him too, and it works.
Yeah, appreciate the comments, y'all. Definitely
Yeah.
bringing the questions. That's what it's about, interacting. We love doing the Q&A.
Let's see.
What was the hardest part of being with someone that's incarcerated?
So I think the hardest part was we were in two different states. So it wasn't like I could just, drive up and see you, when I want to. It had to be planned. I had to put in a notice at work, so it's just a lot that had to go into it. It's a ton of stuff. So the separation of, being so far long distance and then, with him doing his sentence, like you bidding with him now. So yeah, I'm only gonna see you a few times a year, and I have to be okay with that. Am I gonna be content with that? Am I gonna be able to stay loyal? Am I gonna stay committed to the relationship? These are all the things that I had to ask myself before I committed. But once I made the commitment, that was it, and it also allowed me to stay focused on what I needed to focus on as a woman, just to grow and mature and nurture, the things, nurture our minds, feed our, our thoughts, with what we plan to do for the future. So it gave us time. We weren't just talking on the phone and just holding the phone, just breathing. You know what I mean? Like we were having candid conversations all the time so that we can put some things into action. And we did. and we were able to follow through with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a lot though.
it was.
I'm
Oh
glad
God,
we
it was
don't.
crazy.
I'm glad we don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, especially Chris getting in line and Lord, I know what the heck. You just don't know what's on the other side of things.
So there's one issue. Emily says one issue I see is a lot of women going broke, losing their homes just to keep money on their books. That's crazy. I never heard of that, but I don't. I definitely believe that though.
Yeah, us a little bit different. I tried one time to send Chris money. Chris went off, so that was one thing I didn't have to worry about. I did put money on the phone.
Yeah.
But even with that, as he got further along in the sentence, we set up a time schedule. So I would literally talk to him in the morning, and then we talk to each other at night. So it wasn't just always about getting that time on the phone and just focusing so much on that. He had a job, so he was able to put money in and feed himself and everything else. So I guess it just really just depends on the dynamic of the relationship. Obviously everybody can't work just to put, clothe themselves, feed themselves, the necessities that you need from commissary. But I feel like even in that situation, everybody should still be doing their part and doing what needs to be done for you all to be successful. And I don't subscribe to the thought of somebody literally sacrificing everything, because I was not sacrificing everything. I still had the ability to purchase a home before Chris even came out, because I was making sure that I was still going to be good no matter what. So if you're both purpose driven and really trying
built
to,
our credit up.
Yeah, I was building this
I
credit
don't
up.
mind telling people like,
Yeah, like we were we were building.
and then I came home and did what I was supposed to do and ran and kept doing my part. Shout out to everybody that's coming home and doing their part.
I mean,
Because not all
come
of us do.
on.
Not all of us do. There's a lot of people that do manipulate. They're predators. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I remember being on the phone, calling her, and then the next guy over. Hey, say what you want, but it is what it is. They're joking because they call it multiple. You know what I'm saying? Women, or they got different people coming to visitation room, and it's crazy because I had a situation. I had a situation with a relative where she's talking to this dude, and I go to the visitation room, and he's got a whole nother female in there. I told her straight up, but it's just like the streets, man. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. So you got to be careful when you're giving away all your money, and when you're taking away to give to somebody that doesn't have anything to give back other than words. And I ain't got no cut cards, man. You better make sure he's coming home to do what he said he's going to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And he better be paying that back triple fold. But you don't even know the guy got a work ethic a lot of times.
Right.
You don't know if the guy's
Right.
gonna come home and be dealing with addiction. You don't know if he's gonna be a gambler. You don't know if he's gonna go to every Friday just want to go buy shoes. You don't know.
Yeah.
So before you get to invest in money and time, and I'm sorry, I'll be the biggest hater, whatever it is, but I'm tired of seeing certain people I rock with go through bad situations, no matter what side of it it's on.
Yeah. And I looked at his work ethic. Chris was up at 5 a.m. By the time I even got that morning call, I know he was out of breath. He didn't already ran however many miles and then already, had his coffee. It's just certain things you just know. And he worked. He had a job. So, although the circumstance might be what it is, there are ways to be able to tell, if that person is really about what they say they are about.
Yeah.
I feel like you should be able to study your partner regardless of the situation or circumstance, whether they behind bars or not. You should be able to have the ability to see if they have enough hustle or if they're going to really be who they say they are, believe them the first time. So, and that's for either side.
That's the same. Oh, so I'm glad to see that y'all can be uplifting and giving other couples motivation. Well,
yeah, of course. I mean, thank you. I mean, I just feel like I know we're not the only ones. Obviously, there's other people out here, who have gone through the same thing, thinking about it, or, have experienced, or maybe a loved one that is experienced it. We're all affected. But yeah.
And I know I was talking to Emily and Jennifer And they were asking about coaching services, and we take calls, we take emails, stuff like that. I can put my email up real quick. Um, and we just offer advice. It's just stuff we've been through. Um, I don't even know. I don't want to call it anything other than that. We've learned a lot of hard lessons, and we enjoy being able to talk to some people about some things.
Yeah.
That's really it. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. I was just a shout out to y'all. Appreciate it. Emily said, for me, it's not knowing if he's okay when you hear of a death or stabbing at his prison and got to wait for that phone call.
Yeah. It's heart-wrenching. It's the anxiety part of it. Chris had really, really bad anxiety already, when he came home too. So then he had to face other anxieties out here. Definitely behind there, Chris was always, I felt like most of the time he was on edge. Let's just call it what it is. He's a way different person outside of prison. And I would always say that. And you probably, at that time, I probably got on his nerves. But, I just told him once you get out here, it's a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more calmer. But that environment is so toxic. It literally sucks the life out of you. You're seeing death. You're seeing just all these unimaginable things that he'll never share, and some that he has shared with me. And you're waiting on that phone call. A lot of times all you can do is just pray and just hope, send an email, but quieting your mind and just, trying to shift your thoughts to, the good things, or, holding hands, or that last kiss. Those are the things that should motivate you to kind of push you through. There would be times where he was on lockdown and I wasn't able to speak with him, so I do know that, these things can be, it can be very, very treacherous, and it can torture your soul sometime when these things happen. But you just have to pray and hope for the best. That's all you really can do, unfortunately.
You can meet. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that's up
Yes,
here.
thank you.
Everybody that's up. We're streaming on Facebook and YouTube. I don't know how many different groups and places and all that. So shout out to everybody. And sharing and asking questions and giving insight. We definitely appreciate y'all. She said she agreed about the safety. It's another question. Emily's got the fire questions. Can you speak on giving the men space and not playing the warden role?
I actually, maybe, I don't know if I gave Chris maybe too much space. Like I don't know. I just wanted Chris to live. I may have been more of, I wouldn't say the warden role versus maybe the mommy role. You know what I mean? Sometimes. But as far as allowing him to live, yeah, go, hang out, be supportive. I I just speak on it. I took Chris to the strip club. I wanted him to go to the strip club. I took him to the strip club though. You know what I mean?
Time.
So I don't know. I just feel like, and I'm not saying everybody doesn't have to do that. We don't go to the strip club, anymore anyway. But the point is, I wanted him to experience some things rather than go behind my back and try to experience some of these things with somebody else. And he was away for 17 years. I have to be realistic. I just, you got to be supportive, and you have to allow them to live. You can't dictate and just try to have your hand in everything and run every aspect. It's going to drive that person crazy, and it's not going to make them, to miss each other is healthy anyway. I like to miss him, and then when he misses me, it's just, everything is wonderful. So, we back to honeymoon, so just, you can't smother. Like
our marriage is we're different. Like she'll go take trips with her homegirls or whatever. Like we're just different. She'll get mad at me because I don't call her all
enough.
When she's on vacation. I don't know.
Yeah, like I want a morning call and a good night call.
I'm like, I want you to enjoy your vacation.
Yeah, and he will not call. Like Chris, he'd be like, "Yeah, you back."
Uh, how can we reach out for coaching and advice? Emily just put it up there. You can email cwillers@ignite-justice.org and just in the headline put coaching or coaching services. And then if you want to put a little bit about yourself and your significant other, etc.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay, he knows how to work the ticker. So
The pollen down here in Atlanta is
I was
definitely
about to say,
serious.
I can't do all that stuff.
Thank you. Yes,
Somebody
definitely
said
getting
my
closer to
kind of
God.
wife, Emily said.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Yes, definitely getting closer to God with anxiety.
Yeah. Tell me about
Was
it.
anxiety something for you? The closer I got to come home?
Yeah. I felt like that. And that's why I kind of had to run some interference in his mind with that. And I told him he needs to start giving stuff away. So that was something else that he can focus on. With Chris, keeping him working, keeping his mind active, giving him a list of what to do, that just better suited us. I'm not going to say it, it works for your loved one, but I feel like, a task, something to do, it is helpful. It is helpful in a relationship. It's helpful. I just feel like to him as a man, because he's contributing to your mind, to your thoughts, your ideas, being made manifest. So I just feel like that's just the best way to handle it. You have to. It's the only way to push through the fears, pushing through the anxiety, or just anything negative. Just keep it active, staying busy, keeping your mind right.
Indeed. Man called Seraph. Having a big, strong woman like my wife has kept me calm on so many occasions because I'm not out for me now, but for my family. I've even learned how to control my anger as well.
Yeah, I think you should talk about that.
Man, it's kind of. I think I'd be lying if I said it was just my wife that had this effect. I think it's just maturing more and just evolving more as a man, being looked at as a leader. I definitely don't want to embarrass my wife or, our name, any of that stuff, anything like that. But it's just, for me, you should want to carry yourself a certain way. You know what I'm saying? You should want to move a certain way. You shouldn't want to be looked at as somebody that's not taken serious. You should want to be the leader in the room. You should want to be the voice that people want to, take the time out to hear. You should desire that. I feel like, but yeah, having a wife, I think I would look at it a little different. I just think for those of us that are coming home, those of us that are successful and stay home and have less drama, from what I've seen, we're married, or we have a significant other that we come home to every night. We're creating a life with them, and I think that's the part that keeps me in perspective too a lot, or in the right perspective, is we're building things,
Yeah.
and I think it's just all that. But the only reason I didn't just limit it to my wife is because I think us as people, you got to have enough love and desire for yourself, you know what I'm saying, to change. And it's not a knock to anybody, you know what I'm saying, but it's just, you can have people as I guess motivations, but you yourself internally have to be the reason, especially if you coming home from incarceration,
Yeah.
especially if you dealing with some darker thoughts or PTSD, anxiety, whatever it is, because more than likely there's going to be some work that needs to be done. And sometimes the people that you love, that's your motivation, they got stuff they going through. So they're not going to be able to walk with you in that moment. You're going to have to push yourself.
Yep.
So that's why I say that, man. I'm glad I'm married. Don't get me wrong, definitely. And I believe that's a major part of why I'm successful and free and evolving and growing. And like she said, she provided a great foundation. I was able to pick up the baton or whatever and keep running with it. But you got to do it for yourself. You definitely got. I've seen a lot of guys come home and they ended up in bad situations because they put all their chips in somebody else's basket, and then one day it just something happened, and they. So that's just my thoughts, man. Um, Let me see. Tiffany George said, I think she was talking about list of stuff to do in regards to like you were giving me.
Mm-hmm.
I think list of stuff to do. Can you elaborate, please?
Yeah. So with the okay, so I had him. I spoke about it on a previous episode. Um, I told him that I wanted to get into Bitcoin, or in that case, just cryptocurrency as a whole. So I asked him to look into that, to find any articles that he could, because I'll say I'm the financial coordinator, I'll say, in our family. Um, However, I wanted him to have a piece of that too, as far as some type of responsibility. So I had him look into that because I told him I was busy, and that's what he did. And he is still to this day, he handles the portfolio for the crypto. That's his duty, as my husband. So that type of stuff. I gave him things to look at because we started a t-shirt business. So we started talking about that, the steps of walking through how to obtain the business here in Georgia. Also with the barbering. So he was able to get into a barbering program, the first of its kind at the place that he was. And he was the one out of five, selected for the very first class for barbering. So he was able to obtain his barber license. So there were steps or periods in the bid where we both had an agenda. We both had something to do. We had a life that we were trying to build towards. So we had something to do. It was no idle time. We didn't waste the time, wondering, what I'm, what I got on tonight, or, and I'm not knocking people that do, but I'm just saying, like, for the majority of the time, we were planning something, trying to build something, and talking about things that carried substance, something that we could build upon. So we weren't, wasting our time. We invested it into each other, and you know, evidently, I guess, it works.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Brian said Sarah handles the majority of financial stuff. That's what we do. I think that's just what we do as husbands. We kind of, we'd rather just go out there and make it. And she makes it too now, don't get me wrong. But, as far as like, I'll take the trash out, she'll pay the electric bill. That's what's what it is, man.
Yeah. Everybody got a job to do.
Tony Marie Smith Jr. said, I'd love to hear your opinion on a marriage for a life without parole situation. That's serious. Life without parole. And anybody doesn't know, this is not as uncommon as you might think. You know what I'm saying? It actually, there are situations where people are good with companionship and what is able to be offered. And that's why we're doing a show like this, to talk more about the relationships, because we already know a lot of people, there's stigmas, people are judged, people look at you like you're crazy. Yeah. Those are the closest to you. So that's another reason why we're getting ready to do support group stuff like that, other things, man, so we can come together, have conversations, maybe ask some more private questions, one-on-one, all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this happens too. Sometimes people marry it, somebody that's got a life without parole situation that may or may not ever be coming home. You got any initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, my father married my stepmom, God rest her soul. She's gone and passed. But the first time my dad did a bid before, because now he's life in prison without parole. I wouldn't be surprised, I would say, if my father were to get married again by some type of unforeseen circumstances, for instance. I guess that's the only thing that I can really equate it to, realistically. So I could definitely see that happening, just based on what I saw as a kid, based on my father's track record. Who knows if, my father was really coming home at the time. But this woman loved my father. She loved me even more so, it seemed like. And they had a really great and successful marriage. I've also heard of people in a similar situation that will marry because the companionship is just that great. The connection is just that strong. They live, close to the facility, so it's not like out of their way. So I would think that in some circumstances it may be okay, not sharing the physical may be okay for them, experiencing that and still being married. So I think it could still work. To be honest, I fell in love with Christopher before he came home. We had not been physical. So I definitely feel like it can be done. I think that there is love for everybody. So I don't know. I'm not opposed to it. I think it's definitely possible. And I think that people are okay with that.
It's possible because everybody doesn't require the same things from a relationship,
Or a
marriage,
partner.
etc.
Yep.
Some people they're not focused on the physical because you can get the physical out here, but a lot of times the physical, the mental and emotional don't be hitting on nothing.
Yep.
So some people, when they find somebody they can build with mentally and emotionally and just communicate with and be heard, I think sometimes people are willing to deal without the physical and deal with they'd rather miss somebody and know
Yeah.
somebody's missing them than to be home and that person's not coming. I don't know. It's
Or
deep.
you was about to say something sound like, even, you can be with somebody right next to them laying in the bed and you could be even more alone,
Yeah.
than to be in a situation where, yeah.
It gets deep. But I'll say, like, advice, I would say to anybody that's with somebody that's in a relationship, marriage, etc., with somebody that's incarcerated, you 100% have to be honest with them.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be 100% transparent. That means sometimes you might hurt their feelings. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But you've got to be honest. You got to be, because when somebody's incarcerated, that's all they do is pay attention and listen. And the minute something doesn't feel right, or you know what I'm saying, yo, what's up? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So just continue to communicate. Be honest with one another about your expectations. Because even though when we got married, I was coming home, but we still had to deal with the fact I wasn't able. We couldn't go on a honeymoon when we got married. Like there was expectations we had to discuss and make sure that we were good
Both
with it
good with.
in order to truly move forward. So just make sure you guys are good with each step of your journey. And as long as you are, that's what it is. Forget what anybody else says, unless it's positive vibes and support. You know what I mean?
But I would say this. I was going to add this part to it because I thought about it while you were speaking. I feel like age should be a factor in that too. A lot of times I feel like we put our life on hold for, certain things and people and individuals. So if it's a young person, in this situation, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't, ride for somebody or love somebody or make a commitment with somebody if you're in your 20s or 30s. But I just feel like if you do make the commitment, make sure that it's, you're still going to be taking care of yourself, making the right decisions, still building, yourself, your life, your whatever it is that you're trying to do, just make sure that it's not a hindrance, for you to live and live the way that you should, for purpose, on purpose, if that makes sense. I just don't feel like everybody should, walk into it blindly, or be misled or feel so vulnerable because maybe you are lonely. If it's going to stop your life, absolutely not. But if it's going to help, to heal, to love, and be disciplined, then yes, absolutely, you should do it.
I wanted to comment on this one. It said when I first put it out there on POF, a dating app, I had it out in the first two sentences that I did time. Sarah thought, well, I'm just not going to talk to you, but we laugh about it now because they're married. They got kids. They got a beautiful wife, a beautiful
and they
life.
met on Plenty of Fish.
Yeah. which I had to understand even happened. I didn't even understand what the heck that was. I still get confused, just being honest. But salute to y'all for being brave enough.
That's what's up.
I would never be brave enough. That's just me. Like, because the blind date thing, just like, hey, no. But it's funny. It's not funny. We got stereotypes, but a lot of us got felons. We got backgrounds, and I
Yeah.
just, what I'm saying. Not all of us are good guys. Not everybody that comes home is good people. I just want to be honest. Not everybody does right, but don't necessarily get caught up in the title. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Make sure you know why individuals lie. I did my homework. I did a background check on her.
Man.
True story.
He looked up my mugshot.
Yeah. She had a mugshot. She was in jail for one night. Did hard time too. I don't even know if it was a whole night. It was like 4 hours.
It was more than 4.
Man called Saraf because she chose to get to know me for me and not being a felon. Truly,
Yeah.
She gave you time.
Yeah.
And you did what you should have done with the time. You know, and you showed her, because we do have to show people. We shouldn't. This is just me. I expected, and I continue to expect, to have to show certain people certain things. That's just me, because I already know how society is. I know how judgmental people are. I don't take it as a knock. I just look at it as, I went down a certain path. They got certain expectations or certain judgment, or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and surprise them. You know what I mean? So when you got an opportunity to show anybody, who you are. So especially if you're coming home from prison, man, take the opportunity and do it to the best, because it takes some of the stereotype away. Says we need a trifecta: physical, emotional, spiritual support from our spouse, and vice versa.
Definitely.
Tiffany George says a lot of negativity when you try to talk to people about a loving relationship with someone that is locked up. How did you deal with that? And still knowing the loyalty is there and being sure they are coming home to you to do right.
Okay, let's talk about the first part. It's a lot of negativity when you try to talk to people about a loving relationship with someone that is locked up. I did not share the details of my relationship with anybody, that was not in my immediate circle. And that was based off of the first person that I told and the reaction I got from my mother. So I knew that it was going to be, and it's my mom. Of course your mom is going to be concerned. Of course your parents are going to be concerned. But because of the nature of our relationship and because I felt the need to protect it, I decided that I wasn't going to share that love with anybody that I felt like may try to come against that. So that's the first thing that I did. I protected it at all costs because it was sacred to me. How did you deal with that? So that is the way that I handled that, and still knowing the loyalty is there and being sure they are coming home to you to do right. I had to take a chance. But what I did was I was not going to allow the love that I had for him to overshadow what I was doing with my life, in my life at that point in season and time of my life. So at that time, I was in school. I was trying to switch careers, which I did. I wanted to make sure that my credit score was sufficient, which I did. I wanted to obtain it and buy a home for myself with or without him, which I did. So he only was able to add to that. It did not take away in any type of way. So I knew for myself, I felt like I was making the right investment because he showed me what type of work ethic he had. And I was showing him every day what type of person I was, my work ethic, just doing our very, very best to try to maintain, what we were going to do and how we were going to invest in our time once he got home, making the plans. But if you're just, I feel like just riding it out with somebody and y'all aren't making an investment for the future, like you're not talking about future plans, you're not talking about credit, like you're not talking about anything of value, anything of substance. Why would I pour into that person? Why would I not? You know what I mean? Why would I just not keep going if it's not sufficient for me? And he did. He fed me. He fed my spirit. He felt, fed my mind. He was able to build me up as a person and not allow it to take away from me. So I knew that the investment was going to be worth it for me because he was already pouring into me.
You make me sound amazing. I just want like she made it's. I just want to say this. You educated me a million times more, and you continue to. Not for nothing. As much as I might lead at times, you definitely continue to lead by example. Like you showed me a lot of examples in life that I'm paying attention to. So, because you're always like he. No, you. Well, we got married. It's like for years I didn't talk to anybody. I'm somebody I need to be mentally stimulated. I need conversation.
Yeah.
Not the smartest guy in the room, but I consider myself an intellectual, And that was something, she was able to feed me that way mentally, and it was just different feelings came about, and I don't know, that's kind of what life is. She shows me new experiences. Because I'm the boring one, for real, out the two of us.
I don't think so. I guess we both have different levels of boring.
I guess.
But definitely, you just everybody's experience is different, but you definitely want to make the best of your time. And that's what anybody out here too. What are you working towards?
Yeah, and trust is something that's got to be established in any type of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hide from the prison time, but don't put it out there as well. Yeah, don't just run around. Hey, I've been to prison. I've been to prison, mother sucker. I had a guy. I tell a story when a guy was screaming on me. He's like, "I did 5 years in prison." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And good thing it worked out okay. But you don't want to just scream that out. I'm the principal at the school, and I was nervous as heck. But I forgot that I had just did a TikTok video that did like 750,000 views or whatever, and half the students already seen it on their For You page. They just didn't say anything, and I'm trying to kind of hide it, and then I got, man, just look at my tattoos, man. You just come on, you know what I'm saying? And they knew, but I didn't just push it out there. I think, like Emily just said about the relationship thing. When it comes to incarceration, when it does come about, that's when I take it as, as an opportunity to have a conversation, educate people,
and
then highlight the positive things, man. But yeah, don't just run around there and, hey, I've been to prison, mother sucker. They might look at you like you're crazy. Timmy Joe says thank you, and I completely agree with those are the conversations we both have and what I'm doing.
That's awesome. Keep up the good work. Just stay focused on that, the building part of it. You laying the foundation. It's just gonna make it easier for you to focus on the things that matter when he gets home. So just keep up the good work. Just stay focused, stay disciplined, stay vigilant.
Oh, that was a comment for Emily. 46.
15
He's
plus.
been down 15 plus.
Yeah.
Man, just keep being realistic with expectations. Like the whole way through.
As you're changing, as you're growing, you're not always the same. We evolve regularly, and you just have to have those checks with yourself and each other. I mean, it's just good to know.
Yeah.
Are y'all on the same page? Are you still walking in agreement? Do you still want the same things? Has anything changed? So those are the type of things you need to assess.
That's it. Any final thoughts for the that hour went by quick. A quick hour right there.
No,
those are good questions. You say your foot asleep? Mm-hmm. Her foot is asleep.
Wow.
My fault. I just tapped her foot on accident. My fault.
No, you did it on purpose.
No, because that's my thing. When people tell me that their legs and stuff fall asleep, I like to poke them. That's just my thing.
Extra.
Yeah, no, but I appreciate everybody that hopped on the live.
Yeah.
Definitely showed love.
Thank you. Got through it, made it through. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Now once
here. Broke the ice. You're back. Salute to my wife. I know it's hard. I can only imagine. It's hard on my side, but you're doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. And we just keep going.
We're gonna keep going, man.
That's it.
It's purpose driven, no matter what. Yes, my foot is up.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna leave her foot alone before she punches me in my jaw.
Attack him on TV.
I'm sorry. But yeah, we appreciate the support. We reached 1,000 community members on E100 TV, the Facebook page.
Yes.
We're streaming Ignite Justice. We're streaming everywhere. We just appreciate the support. Of course, the YouTube page is at 1.7K subscribers, so that's continuing to grow. Shout out to Monique Yesenia with Mo Life, MJ with Fluid Conversations, of course, my beautiful wife. With Love vs. Prison. We got a bunch of new shows and things coming out. We're gonna start vlogging, and I'll be up here doing my one-on-one rambles again. People said they like that, all that good stuff. But the content's all about your questions. You guys ask. You guys help develop the platform, the content, the channel. That's what it's about. So we can interact. Anybody that's interested in the coaching services, that's what's up. You guys can just shoot an email so we can further discuss.
Stay in the fight.
Yeah, stay in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Connect with people that have been where you've been or have been where you're trying to go.
Right.
Or at least are trying to get to where you're going.
There you go.
You know, get in the room with those people and guard yourself for real.
That's it.
Any final? No closing?
No, I don't have no closing today, y'all.
No peace salutations?
I'm just happy to have made it through. That's it. One day at a time, one step at a time.
My man Brian Ramlin is good at times, the uncut version, so to speak. Definitely. Coaching, please send an email. Email is up there. You can email at cwillers@ignite-justice.org. We'll be up here every Sunday with Love vs. Prison, man. If you got any questions in the meanwhile, you can email questions to that email as well, or you can message, DM, etc. with your questions. Or if maybe you want to get up here on the show with us, and you're in a relationship with somebody that's incarcerated, you want to jump in the box and have a conversation and do some direct one-on-one work that maybe everybody else can learn from, you can do that too. Hit us up. You know, if you've got specific questions that you just want us to ask or answer in regards to your situation, your relationship, etc., let us know. Hit us up. And that's it, man. Peace, love, and blessings on this Sunday. We was on the grill today.
Yes, I'm ready to eat some barbecue.
Yeah, we about to go eat. I'm gone. Appreciate y'all, man. We okay. We did not go crazy.
Yes,
we're still here.
Go crazy.
Yeah,
we're still here.
Ups, downs, in betweens, man.
Ups, downs, in between.
We going. Shout out to Team Willers. That's it, man. Peace to y'all.